What's going on, everybody? DeMarco here with another episode of Deadlifts, Dogs, and Dad Jokes. We got Nano here as well. And Eric couldn't make it today. He was busy. He's going into the city for the Celtics game, and brunch with the bros. So he's too busy and popular for us, which is okay. But I'm very excited for y'all to join us for another episode. Got a really awesome special guest on here today, and this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about two different kind of areas or arenas, if you will, of self-improvement. We're going to talk about fitness, and we're going to also talk about insurance and pivoting and transitioning. So I'm very excited. Without further ado, Anna Noble, how are you?
Hi, everybody. This is my first podcast.
First podcast.
So I'm happy to be here, and I love the fact that I'm in a gym setting because, my favorite place to be. But yeah, my name is Anna Noble, and I'm so excited to be on this podcast and just talking about kind of my life and kind of just, life lessons and fitness. What I do right now, I come from a fitness background, and I feel like fitness is always kind of going to be the backbone of my life in every facet that I go into. So, I'm happy to be here, happy to chat.
Absolutely.
Tell some jokes.
And have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Drink our coffee because you need that.
Absolutely. So. Which take note, future podcast guest. The very first in-person meeting was her handing me a coffee. So I'm not gonna play favorites, but if there was a listing, you'd definitely be closer to the top. So take notes. And as a parent, obviously, coffee is essential to my day-to-day functioning. It's very
I can
critical.
Imagine.
Yeah. So awesome. Well, Anna, so you and I met obviously through a former guest, two-time guest actually. Laura was on both the Beers and Bells podcast and Deadlifts, Dogs, and Dad Jokes. Yes. So she was with us for both, and she's a good friend of mine and colleague, and she told me about you. Mm-hmm. We talked about you had reached out and told me about some of the insurance products that you offer, and we talked on the phone, got Vivi signed up for something, got her a little extra coverage, which I'm very happy about that. It makes me feel good.
Very good.
And which is great. So how long have you been a trainer, and then we can talk about kind of that and then transition into your
Absolutely. So God, how old am I? 25. Okay, so
you lose count after a while, that's for sure.
Yeah, so technically I've been an actual licensed trainer since I was 21.
Awesome.
So I started, actually my first ever job as a trainer was back in high school. I was basically an apprentice from my good friend Ben Higgins, who owns a gym back home.
Nice.
It's called Athletic Instinct. It's voted best gym in New Hampshire. Go check it out if you live up there.
Awesome. Where in New Hampshire is it?
It's in Rochester.
Okay,
Hampshire.
awesome.
So Seacoast area.
Nice.
So I did a lot of, kind of shadowing him for a couple years in high school. And then when I went to college, which brought me down here to Northeastern in Boston, I always knew that I wanted to get my license and that to be able to help people. And just being an athlete has always been part of my life too. So I'd say my third year of college, I ended up just going and get my NASM.
Yeah.
And I ended up landing a job at Boston Sports Club in Watertown, RIP, no longer open.
Yeah, one of the many that's no longer with us.
And we're not going to go down that route, but
that's like a separate 3-hour conversation.
That's a separate podcast. But I've met so many great people from that network and just Boston Sports Club in general. And I think I love seeing what everyone did after the pandemic.
Yes.
Their different routes that they went, either opening their own gym or, going the online route. And that's how I also met Laura.
Oh, awesome.
BSC.
Oh, that's great.
And, just I think being able to network with so many people. But, I would say so many of my clients became like part of my family from that experience.
Definitely, yeah.
Working there for a solid 2 years. And then once the pandemic hit, I kind of went my own route while I was working. And I kept about 10 to 12 people under my brand, Noble Fit. So
awesome.
And I kind of use, my kind of slogan is, Noble Fit, fitness for life. Like we're all, at the end of the day, I think everyone has the ability to be their own athlete, no matter what stage of life you're in. And that's how my brand, Noble Fit, hence my last name, but has kind of come to be just that experience and, being able to take that into any avenue you go. So
that's awesome. I love that. So Noble Fit,
Yep.
fit for life. So we said
Fitness for life.
Fitness for life, and then
Yeah.
everyone has the ability to be their own athlete.
Yep.
I think that's cool because if you think about it, athletics and in quote unquote being fit or in shape is very subjective to the person. So I think that's that opens it up versus a lot of coaches that really hone in on one modality and they say, well, unless you're stage ready for a bodybuilding competition or something, you're not fit. So I like the open-minded approach to it. I like
Absolutely.
how it's adaptable.
I mean, for so many people I've worked with, like for them being fit, it's really it's up to you. It's up to yourself. But that might be being able to run your first 5K.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being able to clean a 40-pound kettlebell. It's really it comes down to you as your own individual. Like, what does fitness look like to you, and how can you push yourself to the next level? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I couldn't agree more with that. It's very it's very individual, and this is a corny tagline, and I use it all the time. But it came from Mark Wahlberg in a movie. But it's personal training. Personal comes first. So it it's not just about us giving someone a workout and counting reps. There's obviously a lot more that's involved with that.
Absolutely.
So that's great, and obviously your philosophy and your values definitely align with mine and my colleagues. As far as being service oriented, and wanting to serve and help the person in front of you versus seeing someone as like a slab of marble that you need to fix and perfect.
Right.
So which there is a lot of that in our industry, as you and I have seen.
There is.
So, but I love that. I love that approach. So you've been a coach for 4 years, and you've got Noble Fit, which is awesome, by the way. I love the fact that there's like a tagline and a brand name. Yeah. And I think yours is definitely more succinct and to the point than mine. I've definitely bounced around with mine.
Okay.
But I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So how did you end up transitioning into insurance? And what is this new career that you're transitioning into?
Absolutely. So we'll start with what it is. So
that's a good start.
Maybe a little bit more about me. So kind of out of college, so I went to Northeastern, actually ran track there. I was a heptathlete on the women's D1 baby. Let's go.
Okay.
So I ended up running track. I had that amazing opportunity. Very grateful for that. And then once I got more into training, I just kind of wanted to go my own way with training. And the pandemic came, and I was a new grad looking for a full-time job. I have a business degree and I have a public health degree, so I knew I wanted to get into that sector. So I've actually just been with the East Boston Neighborhood Health Center for a couple years. Made a lot of great connections there and was able to serve the greater Boston community with the patients I was working with. And then a good friend of mine kind of introduced me to the insurance world and the financial services world about 6 months ago, actually. And at first I was like, I don't think this is for me. I'm a trainer and I like fitness, and
I don't want to get stuck behind a desk on the phone all day.
You're not going to have me like calling people to sign them up for, their whole life policy. Like, I think it's important, but I just don't see myself doing it. And then, they kind of kept harping on me like, oh, Anna, just think about it. Like, get the license. And I'm very competitive. If someone says, oh, I think you could get past this test, I'm like, all right, I'm going to take it. Just to prove you all wrong.
Right, exactly.
Or mostly prove myself. So back in around Christmas time, I ended up getting COVID. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of locked in quarantine. I can't really go anywhere. Let me just start doing this test for insurance. And I come from I guess technically a health insurance type of plan with my old job with the health center. So I was very familiar with a lot of the concepts and just some of the the regulations that you do need to follow. And then I kind of just have gone from there. I got my license, so I'm part of what's called Family First Life. So that's my company. So we're an IMO, insurance marketing organization. I'm actually what's called an independent broker. So I'm contracted with about 20 different A-rated carriers throughout the United States. And so I'm able to help people find, coverage that fits their needs, but also their budget. So my main kind of focus points would be, child whole life insurance, mortgage protection. Technically, I'm a mortgage protection specialist, if you will. So we allow people to make sure they can pay off their home in the event they were to get, critically or chronically ill or pass away. which is extremely important. When you buy a house or any large asset, you want to protect that.
Yes.
And I didn't realize, until I started doing this, like, wow, someday I want to have a home. I want to have property.
Yeah.
And, it's super important.
It's the American dream.
It is. It's super important.
For a lot of people.
It's super important to, like, be able to protect those things you've worked so hard for.
Of course.
And then, of course, if you have children, I mean, what are they going to do if you're not there?
Exactly.
You want to make sure that you're set up. Like, tomorrow's never promised. And I think we may have all had those experiences where, like, we're like, wow, like, that was life altering. I mean, personally, I've been through a car accident that was when I was younger. That was just like, whoa. And
wake up call, yeah.
Thinking about, if you wake up and something like that happens, what are you going to do for your family? So, I do that. We do retirement savings conservation, so annuities. I'm able to write that as well. And then I think the biggest thing for me is just educating people on, like, I'm not here to sell it to you because I'm not a saleswoman. Even when I was a trainer full time, I was never that saleswoman in the gym.
Yeah.
It was always more like...
You weren't the Wolf of Wall Street
no.
beating your chest. Yeah, that's good.
It was always, like, my philosophy is always, if you see what I'm doing and you like it, I'm going to attract new clients, new customers. So I feel like I use the same tactics with my insurance role.
Yeah.
And, that's why I like to connect with small business owners like Laura, be able to educate, people that maybe wouldn't have the information right in front of them necessarily, like yourself. So yeah, that's kind of my tactics in terms of, like, the transition. I just use the same, kind of the same pivot points from being a trainer to going into becoming an insurance broker full time. Just, I'm not here to push it to you. I'm here to educate you and just be open, make sure that, I'm able to answer your questions and kind of go from there. So I just like helping people.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day.
Well, and that's the best reason to do, I mean, almost any industry that you're in one form or another is serving someone, right? Even,
Absolutely.
As silly as it sounds, even, like, my first job ever was working at Burger King. Like, I
Yeah.
served burgers to people
Right.
that were really hungry, and, you're serving food to people. So there is value in serving others, and that's really what keeps the economic wheels turning in our free market society.
It does.
And and I love the fact that you're and I've had this same conversation with my colleague Mike all the time, and it's always we're here to educate, empower, serve, and it's not, of course, when you sell it helps your bottom line. Obviously, we all have to eat and everything, but by not pushing the sale, by leading with empathy and serving and educating and empowering, like, the right people will come to you, the people that like what you're doing. Like,
Absolutely.
You didn't even sell me on the policy that we got for Vivi.
Yeah.
It was Laura had sent a message.
Right.
You would send a little presentation, PowerPoint, and it was nice because I looked through it, and a couple things I had already had. So it's like, all right, well, I've already got those. We don't need to, I don't want to, be redundant. But then I saw the one, like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's talk about it. Then you gave me the rundown, and it was nice because a lot of people tend to be, like, really pushy with the sale.
I'm not like that.
Desperation is not a good look, and you can smell it, whether it's no matter what game it's in. So I love that. I think you had a great approach to it. So
thank you. I think I know I'm gonna be really deep today, but desperation.
Go deep. Let's do it.
I feel like desperation just pushes opportunities away from you, and when you're just confident with yourself as a professional, or even as an individual, like, so many things open up for you. You try to, like, live your true self every day and just be you, and that's what I really tried to develop for myself in the last few years, and it's just, like, opened up so many doors for me. So yeah,
that's awesome. I love that desperation pushes opportunities. I think that's true. I think that's very true. I ironically, every time I have, and it's either with my wife Lauren or with my colleagues like Mike or Sean, and I always will say, this has happened more times than I can count. I'll say, all right, I've got a good schedule now. I'm set. I've got the session number that I'd like. And I'm good. I'm good for now. I don't need to grow anymore. And then as soon as I say that,
they come flocking.
It's always. I get a message from somebody I haven't seen in 5 years. Hey, I just moved to the area. Would you like to start? I'm ready to start training. Or someone that went on, like, a really long break. And like, all right, I'm back. I've gone through my PT and I'm ready to get back into training. It's like, Okay. And then the flip side is like, I'm definitely looking to grow. I'm definitely looking to more on, then no one's around. It's so funny how the universe is like that.
It is.
Life is steeped in irony.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I'm not to keep talking about like life stuff, but I feel like just like some parallels between training and now that I'm in the insurance sector is just, I think a big thing for so many of us is like our confidence and not feeling like we're good enough. Like when I was at Boston Sports Club, I was the only woman and I was like the youngest. So talk about feeling a little woo, you know what I mean? So just kind of like staying the course in anything in life and just putting the work in, and then you're going to look back in like a month or two and be like, wow, you know what I mean? I have all these people that want to work with me. I've been able to help all of these families, find coverage that's going to fit their needs or whatever it may be. But I think just not getting caught up in the like comparison of other professionals is really important. I mean, right now, like, yeah, I'm the only woman on my team, but that doesn't waver me from working hard, and that makes me want to work harder.
Of course.
How can I be a good example? How can I show other young women, older women, other people that they could do this too? And it is male dominated, but if you're energetic and you have motivation, I think anyone can do it. So. Oh,
absolutely, and I would argue that of course initially when you're in an environment where you are the minority, you're like you said when you went to work at BSC, you were the only female coach there.
Yeah.
And I think fitness is slowly changing, but it is very much it is definitely a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
And but. I would say that that's definitely an advantage and an asset to you because I'm sure there were female prospective clients that saw you felt like they could relate to you more for obvious reasons and felt less intimidated versus working with a male coach. Obviously, it's all personal. Everyone has preferences. I have female clients that definitely wouldn't want to work with another female. They prefer having a male, and then vice versa. But I remember a client that I signed up long time ago. It was one of my first clients ever, and back when I was still living in Mississippi. And he and I spoke on the phone, and he had already been a client before, so of another coach.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he definitely wanted a male coach because he wants someone that can spot him on a heavy lift.
Okay.
And it was kind of like, it's one of those like, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't say anything to correct him because there was a sale on the line, and I definitely just, I just didn't say anything. But in my head, I'm thinking, first off, there's two problems with that. Number one, I know plenty of female lifters that pound for pound are way stronger than I am. And then number two, if you're going for a max effort lift and you need the help on the spot, ideally it shouldn't be that much help, or the weight is way too heavy. Yeah. If I have to upright row / deadlift your bench press, you went way too heavy, buddy. So it's funny how it's funny, but in all seriousness, there's still that stereotype about female coaches. But I've trained female lifters that are like two times plus bodyweight deadlifters. So very, very strong.
Yeah.
So, and I love your approach, and I think that again, you're bringing a fresh new perspective to the team,
right?
Which is only going to help the team grow.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, and they push me too. Like it's tough love sometimes, but I'm like, wow, it's the same thing with training, or even your own fitness. It's why are you going to be stagnant? You always want to be like pushing a little bit more. You know what I mean? That's at least my philosophy with life. You only get one life. How far can you go in it, even day to day? So
I love it.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's awesome. I actually just read a book that I highly recommend if you haven't already read it. It's Think Again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's Adam Grant. I think that's the name of the author. I listened to it on Audible. But
yeah.
The author speaks about that. He says that we're humans, right? We're habitual by nature. We get into fixed mindsets. We all have our fixed opinions about politics and about a lot of different topics, and fitness actually.
Yeah.
Obviously another one, but he talks about how we should constantly be around people that respectfully will disagree with us. Not people that are just gonna call names and be rude about it, but people that will constantly push you to change your perspective. Because I used to think kettlebells were stupid. Actually, when I first became a coach, I saw somebody do a Turkish get-up. I thought, oh, that's just some stupid CrossFit shit. I'm not gonna do that. That's dumb. Why would somebody do all these weird moves? And then I saw a swing for the first time. I'm like, oh, that's dangerous for your back. Like, you shouldn't do that. You should just do a chest press on a machine so it's safe. And of course, fast forward a few years, I'm a kettlebell coach. I have a specialty certification in kettlebells, and I've since come around. So it's funny but it's good to be around people that will open you up.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and just give you a fresh perspective too. I mean, whether it's in the gym or life or anything. And kettlebell's #1 modality in training, my opinion. But
I love them. Yeah. I try hard not to push kettlebells on people, but especially with the pandemic, they've just been such an amazing tool because when you're limited on space and equipment, you can get one or a couple of them and get a full workout. I had one bell. That silver 20 kilo behind you. Okay. It was I used it the first couple months of the shutdown. I bought another bell. I spent a lot of money on it because obviously it was COVID times.
They were so expensive.
Shipping is crazy. Yeah, it was like, but I've used it a lot, so it's been good. But I bought a 32K and I used it to train for a while, and but those two bells sustained me for 6-7 months, and I'll be honest, I could have kept just using those, but I wanted more, so I bought more.
Right.
But they're a great tool. There's a lot of great stuff you can do with them.
They're awesome. I love them. I would love to go, super side note, but on it training. So I have, I did go through like a little bit of that a few years ago, but I always wanted to go to the gym and just get the kettlebell cert. Still on my bucket list down in Texas.
Oh, they do have their own. I forgot about that. I love On It. I love the animal bells, the gorilla one.
Oh my God,
they're freaking cool.
Yep, so that's something I would like to do maybe in the next year or two is just go down there, get the kettlebell certification and, like, even though I'm not really practicing my training, coaching right now, I'm still doing it for myself. Like every day I have goals, fitness related, so that's one of them. Get that done.
I love it. No, it's great. On It is obviously a leader in the industry. They have great quality products and they've got some big, obviously like Joe Rogan, Joe DeFranco. They've got some really big names that are involved with them and have partnerships. So they've got some. I want to buy a couple of their maces. I want to learn about maces. I really want to learn about maces.
Highly recommend the mace. What else? They have everything. The clubs, the steel clubs.
Yeah.
Those are great.
I have the wooden Indian Indian clubs, but I definitely would love to try the metal ones for sure.
Yeah, I like those a lot.
Yeah.
They're just so different,
Oh, exactly. And they're movement patterns that we're just not used to performing. We tend to, just like mentally with our own opinions, with our movements, we tend to get very fixed. And obviously that can lead to a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
So. Awesome. Well, to step back for a second, I'd love to get into, and this is a very open-ended question, so don't feel like you have to, you can go deep. I love going deep, by the way. I love open-ended, and I actually really enjoy speaking about and reading philosophy and a lot of stuff, so I love going deep. I love the deep dive stuff. I tend to prefer this medium and audiobooks over the quick Instagram posts. I do like those, but I like the deep dive into topics, so don't feel like you have to be really quick with it. But for your fitness career, and your own training for yourself and your clients, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned and that you've been able to apply into your insurance career?
Oh,
you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but I want to kind of see if there's maybe another one as well.
That's really good. So I was looking at the prompt that you sent me, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot. I would say number 1, my attitude. So when I had, I love telling this story because people that ran track with me at Northeastern, I used to get in trouble a lot for my attitude. And,
really?
And it being bad.
Okay.
Yes. And being, and I think being a young, naive kid coming on to a D1 team, you think you're the shit, Sorry, I'm swearing. But,
of course. No, that's okay.
We all, when you're on a D1 athletic team, you're all coming from all different walks of life in your hometown, and you think you're that.
You're in good shape if you're on a D1 team. So there's some of that's warranted.
And you think you're that girl or that guy from whatever hometown you're from.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to this, but then you get smacked in the face with the reality of being a college student as well, and you need to do well in college, you need to do well on your sport, and we have the social aspects too. So you're either going to get caught up in that, or you're not, or you're going to be focused. And I think that my first couple of years running at that level, it was just I was so caught up in my own mind and my own ego that I didn't want to hear feedback from anybody, my coaches, my teammates, outside people, none of that. And I think from a mental standpoint, I was really struggling just with I think I would consider myself going through like being really depressed at many times, just like feeling lost, you know what I mean? And I think once I actually went through and got my certification as a trainer, and same thing with my insurance, right now, once you get that, now you have people relying on you. It's no longer just you and your bad attitude, right? You have to when I went to the BSC, you'd be waking up sometimes. My earliest client, every Thursday morning, I had her at 5:30.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
You don't always want to wake up at 4:30.
No.
But that person's relying.
To be there at 5:30.
To be there at 5:30.
That's the key. You're being there. You're not waking up at 5:30. You have to be there at 5:30.
But that person is relying on you to make sure that you're showing up and you're being professional and you're ready.
You got to be on, and ready to roll.
You got to be on, and it's like you don't even have time for the bad attitude or the ego to be like, I don't know if I really want to do this today, or I'm not in the mood, because that's what I would do back when I was running track. And I didn't realize wow, I have this whole team that we're actually relying on each other to go and win championships, but I'm so caught up in my own unhappiness or whatever it is that we all go through things like that. But I think it's very important to, number one, get help for it if you need it, and then number two, but be able to separate okay, this is my own thing, but I have all these people that are relying on me. And I kind of use that, the attitude check now, I think both in fitness, but also with insurance too. I mean, I met with a client yesterday, and he was out in Worcester, and do you want to go out to Worcester on a Saturday? Maybe not, 9 in the morning. It's a little bit of a drive, but he was a brand new young guy, just bought his first house, first condo.
Oh yeah.
And didn't have anything in place, and he's young, he's hardworking, and I'm like, we got to protect this for you.
Absolutely, because you never know what's coming.
Absolutely, and I think that was a great meeting yesterday, and I'm like, see, I'm so glad I got up and just went to work and helped him out. You know what I mean? So I have those little moments where I'm like, you don't need to just forget about how you feel and just go serve your clients or your customers in the moment. And then always self-reflect though, that's super important. Being able to self-reflect and take the time to do that. But I'd say biggest transformative thing for me is my attitude and being more aware of it. And when I'm going through times where maybe I'm comparing myself a lot or frustrated with my progress or just whatever it may be, just remembering that, you have people that are relying on you.
That's right.
So that's we don't all get to be, I feel like in life, you don't always get chosen to be a leader or to be someone who is going to be that responsible person. And sometimes it just comes to you and you have to just roll with it.
That's true.
So that's my biggest one.
I love that. I think that's a great perspective. And anytime someone, and I wish more people take this as a takeaway, everyone, please, no matter what you do for your profession and what you do in life, the willingness to admit, ignorance and lessons learned and just say the words I made a mistake or I was wrong or I effed up, whatever way you decide to say it, that's a very empowering statement because on the front end it's oh, well, I made a mistake and I didn't know X or whatever. The flip side is I'm owning the mistake and this is what I'm doing to improve upon it or make the situation better.
Absolutely.
So I think that's something we all need to do more of. Humility is so important in any field.
It is.
Because like you said, if you get to, in the book I was, again, was talking about what they call overconfidence cycles, where you get really comfortable where you are and you stop growing, but then you stagnate and then you actually start to backslide, which is not good. So that's that's all great stuff. Great takeaway for our audience. And that's regardless of what field you're in. I don't care if you're an accountant or a personal trainer or a chef. I mean, we can always get better no matter what we do. So.
I think one more to just squeeze it into that I think anyone can relate to it too is no matter what profession or what you do day to day is you can learn something from everyone.
Absolutely.
Even if it's literally your girl down at Starbucks that you have make your coffee 3 times a week.
Yep.
Everyone can teach you something, whether it's really big or whether it's very small. And I think it really, just being open to that is very important to growth and just your mindset shift too. I think of people that maybe they were only present in my life for a couple of months, but I learned so much from them and their perspective, and I think that's really important. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've learned so much from some of the most unlikely people in ever. Because we tend to make snap judgments about people. We make we make those quick judgments, and a lot of times they tend to either not be right or be flat out wrong, or just be not fully representative. And I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, just always try to listen and try to learn, because I'll be honest with you, we're personal trainers. People pay good money to train. It's a luxury, and it's not cheap. And especially in this market, in this Boston, greater Boston area market, it's not a cheap service at all. There's two sides to that coin, though. It's we're being paid really well for our time, which obviously we've invested a lot of money into our time and our knowledge and experience. But on the other end, that person can afford to pay us X number of dollars to train. So they're obviously doing something very right. So I tell my clients this all the time. It sounds corny, but I've learned a lot more from them than they have from me. I can very humbly say that, like from life, I have clients that are parents, and they've given me great lessons and takeaways and that I've applied into, raising my daughter, Vivi, and like dogs, we talk about like animals and like taking care of pets. And, it's, if you go into it with a mindset of I'm always ready to learn, I'm not an expert, I'm always, always a student, then you will grow and continue to learn. And then no one can stick you somewhere, right? Put you in a box and say, oh, but you said this, and this was your definitive declarative statement, and you have to walk back on it. It's like, no, I'm always learning. Like, the whole thing of someone says something that maybe contradicts something you learn, you go, oh, that's interesting. I never considered that perspective. Let's dive into that. Versus the more definitive, like, this is the way. This is the only way. Because that's just not going to get you
There's
anywhere.
no one way. Like, listen, there's no one way to becoming your version of fitness, and there's no one way of becoming your version of successful. Or your version of whatever it may be. Like, there's so many. That's not. I think of that meme. It's like what people see, and it's the curve up to like the podium, and then what actually is behind the scenes, and it's like all these ups and downs,
very
and
much
the
here.
Stairs to whatever it is you're trying to get to.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely not linear. I mean, if it truly were linear, then you and I would be in this gym right now, bench pressing 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like if it was linear and we could make progress every single day, every week, every month, every year, then we would all be record holders, right? So it's obviously not the way it works. So.
Life lessons,
I love it. No, see, it's funny. This is a fitness show. But I love the parallels. I love talking about like life and, like I said, philosophy, and it's all related. Everything that you've said about your fitness career applies to your insurance career and vice versa, which is really, really cool.
Absolutely.
So I think that's fantastic. So I didn't warn you of this ahead of time, and I apologize. However, we had talked about I asked you what you did for your workout the other day, which I was tired, by the way, just reading it. I was like, God, you ran a 5K and you lifted weights? Like, whoa.
I'm kind of a nut.
That's a lot. I love it. No. I love it. I'm all about it. So you had mentioned Bulgarian split squats as being one of your favorite movements.
It is.
So to kind of do a little bit of a quote unquote mini deep dive into the movement, how do you coach it and teach it to others? So what's your setup for it? Which, of course, there's no wrong answer.
A really good question, and I'm probably going to be rusty, but Bulgarian split squats, I mean, I would prefer if I can have the rolling pad in the back foot.
Of course.
If I don't have that, I'll set somebody up on a bench that makes sense for their height, making sure that, some people don't have the flexion in their foot in order to put it flat.
Exactly.
So, I mean...
ankle mobility is...
ankle mobility, it's important.
Mobilize your ankles.
If you have to... So,
brush your teeth and mobilize your ankles.
And floss, too. Some of you don't floss, and it's gross, all right? So...
life lesson right there, y'all.
So for Bulgarians, I mean, oh man. So it depends on the person's kind of level. I always have to start with that. So if they're kind of newer, I would actually set them up in a way that they can hold on to something and stabilize first. And maybe just start with, like, say if we're doing like a two dumbbell split, right? Bulgarian split squat. Maybe we're only just using one dumbbell and they're holding on to like a rack.
Oh, absolutely.
Or some sort
That's
of
great.
like modality in the front to make sure that they have that stability first, because obviously it's a lot of balance work too, and it's strength based. But I think I would just coach it as, making sure that we're not super far out with our front foot.
Yes,
your back. Bad. Your back. I see on Instagram all these people doing these wrong. Okay, and that makes takes everything in me not to correct you guys, but I hate when people come at me for form stuff and I didn't ask. Like, any of my good friends know I don't like an unsolicited advice.
It's annoying.
Training.
It's annoying. Yeah.
First of all, I actually have my own trainer too. So I go to inner city weightlifting.
There we go.
If you guys don't know, you should check them out. I work
Badass
with,
group of coaches. Yeah.
I work with a couple of the coaches over there, and they just keep me humble and always making sure that my form is checked. It's always good if you're a coach, get your own coach too.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I've been training with my guy Sean for 4 years now. Almost,
so I love going there. But in terms of the Bulgarian split squat, definitely all of you are way too far out with your front foot. So back it up a little bit. And you want to make sure that your joints are in alignment. So so basically like your spine, your hips, and then your ankles. And when you're thinking about the Bulgarian split squat, your front knee can come over your ankle a little bit. That's fine, right? But we don't want to be so far out with our front foot
There's like a split
that we're like literally splitting down. So I kind of think of it like when I'm training somebody, I kind of give them the metaphor of an escalator. So down and back with the back knee. So when you're nice and tall, right? And I always say, like, pretend there's a string at the top of your head.
Absolutely.
So, and we're also like shoulder blades are retracted as well, even if we're holding weight. And then from
don't
there,
cave over. Yeah, that's good. That's a good reminder. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from there we're dropping the back knee down and back towards the bench. And if you think of an escalator, what does it do? It kind of goes down and back.
That's great.
Down and backwards. I remember hearing that a while ago, and I'm like, I like that. We're not moving forward. Everything is, if you put a wall in front of you, you could have your nose an inch away and you're not going to hit it because everything's moving down and back.
So you coach it to keep the torso mostly upright. Okay, awesome.
I do.
Which makes sense because it places. Obviously, we're focusing on quad. Versus if we're leaning forward, more emphasis on the posterior chain. That's awesome.
So I mean, you can certainly, depending on what your focus is, you're either leaning forward.
I feel like that makes more sense though, because it's very easy to kind of rock forward and use momentum, which you and I have also seen on Instagram.
Yeah, man, Instagram.
So Instagram, man, it's the best and the worst.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
I think also too, if someone's struggling with their core strength.
Yes.
I'm more focused on the upright posture.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas leaning forward, you need to know how to hinge your hips.
It's true. And obviously pressurize and make sure we're not shifting. I love that. I think that's awesome. So I think you kind of alluded to this earlier. You would start someone with a bodyweight split squat supported and then go to unsupported, add weight, and then go to the Bulgarian.
Kind of in progression too. Like your first day with me, we're not doing weight unless it looks good, and I think that you can you can handle it, and that you're able to. The biggest thing too is, can you push through that front leg? Can you keep the heel on the ground, and do you have good contact with the ground the whole time?
Exactly.
And if you're not ready for that, we just progress like week after week or whenever we're training.
It's great extra. I mean, I love the split squat and the Bulgarian / rear foot elevated split squat for you nerds out there that want us to say the proper whatever term. But my coach Sean, we're big kettlebellers as well, and I'm currently training right now with swings and Turkish get-ups as my main movements. And one of the very first cues he ever, I just feel like I just almost slapped you. Sorry, like reaching my hand out so one of the cues for the upward motion and the downward motion in the split squat part of the get-up was elevator knee. Think about like descending and elevating, but doing so slowly. Obviously not like slamming down on the knee and because it's going to throw off your balance, especially if you have a heavy weight overhead, which is also bad if you're holding weights too. So you could obviously it doesn't feel good. So I like that aspect though of like down and back though, because that definitely keeps you in good alignment. And I think that's a great cue. I like that. I'm gonna think that. So escalator and elevator, and it makes sense. And it definitely, if you think about stepping back for a reverse lunge, that's the movement as well, right? You're stepping back and you're going down and back with that back foot and knee. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I like coaching those.
They're fun.
Bulgarian split squats suck, but they're kind of like another life lesson. I feel like the more you do them, the easier they get, and the more you actually like them. So
Yeah.
they're one of those things, like anything you kind of like despise doing, the more you just do it, it's gonna get easier.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and they're fun because they can be loaded. I mean, just I like them because particularly that quote unquote not beginner. I mean, I don't like to use the word beginner too often because it makes it sound like it can be used negatively. But but the more kind of regress version, if you will, because the split squat is a challenging movement for someone just starting. But like your bodyweight split squat. Great movement for balance. We're strengthening each leg individually. Great for proprioception, obviously. The Bulgarian split squat, obviously takes it to another level, and it really emphasizes not just really focusing on strengthening that front leg, but hip mobility, ankle mobility, like you had mentioned before. It's a great. I love and hate them because they kill. I mean, you do. I've never had to go really high on the reps because you feel them immediately. I do like for myself like. 6 to 8 reps. I mean, any more than that, I just I start to hate life. So it's I think that's awesome. Cool. Well, that was great stuff, Anna. Next thing we'll get into, we'll do a quick lightning round. So no right or wrong answer. These are just kind of some fun questions to ask, and this is more so like a this or that.
I like that.
Exactly, like a fun way to kind of get to know you and kind of transition and switch gears.
Okay.
So, The Office or Parks and Rec?
The Office.
Nice. Awesome. I love The Office also.
For sure.
Have you ever seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It's funny. Everyone tends to be in one camp or the other for obvious reasons. So, I love that. So, to stay on the Office track for a second, who's your favorite character in The Office? Which is
I like Dwight.
I do too. Yeah. Dwight's really funny.
He's just like the person that just didn't need to talk but did.
Yeah.
We all have that in our... If we ever worked a corporate office job, anyone can relate to that. So, man.
And he's such a loyal friend too. That's the funny part. Deep down, he's actually a really good guy. So it's I love it. I think that's a great answer.
Yeah.
So Marvel or DC?
Oh, you're gonna hate me.
I won't hate you.
I'm really not into any of that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure.
No, I'd say Marvel.
Delete this episode. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm totally joking.
But just like this is not for me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, the superhero movies have gotten really ridiculous.
I know.
Because as much of it, obviously I'm wearing a Batman shirt, so I'm a nerd for this stuff too. But it's gotten crazy because you have all these movies and these shows, and
I know.
I don't have time to keep up with that shit. Now I've got a child, and I got a wife and a daughter to take care of, and a dog. But it's fun. But I'm with you there. So if you had to choose one, which super power would you like to have?
Man, if I had a superpower, it would be being able to read people's minds because I'm kind of nosy.
Dangerous ability, but fun.
And it's dangerous, but then you're so much more you already know what they're gonna do. You can predict, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's a little weird, but I'd love to be able to read some people's minds. Maybe not have people read my mind, but
exactly. I
think that would be really interesting. And some people are very telepathic, and they kind of can do that already. And it's like, whoa, how'd you know I was about to say that?
Yeah.
But I think that would be cool, and maybe a little scary.
Well, you definitely showed some displayed some telepathic ability. So right as I was texting you, asking you about coffee, you texted me the same thing. Say, hey, what's your Starbucks order? So maybe you do have the ability, and you're just choosing to
a little bit maybe.
Yeah, choosing not to display it. So no, it's great. I think that would be a very, very good power. But it would be one of those you could very easily abuse it. So that's the scary part, right? You could the ability to so it'd be good.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or neither?
Oh man, I don't know who watches this.
A lot of nerds, not just nerds, but
you're gonna hate me too. I would probably say neither.
Nice.
So not
what's your favorite movie?
So I guess maybe this movie that I saw maybe I saw it a couple years ago, but I just rewatched it. But it's called Anna, and she works for the KGB. She's a Russian spy.
Oh yeah, was that with Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah. No.
Or no?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of another
actress. But I really like that movie.
No, I know what you're talking about. I did see that. It was very good. Yeah.
Honestly, like the John Wick movies.
Are you kidding me? I love the John Wick movies.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a little weird, but I like those. I like the one. It's called Anna because obviously hence the name, and I think she's just a badass character. And
I can't remember who played her, but yeah,
lives like a double life, and I'm like, wow.
No, I
like
agree.
that.
Great movie.
No, like I don't even like really watch a whole lot of movies and stuff.
That's okay.
I'm kind of a nerd. Like I just like to work on my business, and
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm more of like if I have free time, I'm gonna like go out and do something.
Yeah.
Rather than stay in or like
and watch a movie. Yeah.
Be more social.
Makes sense.
I definitely have a lot of great friends, and like when I have the time, like I want to spend it with them.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a foodie too. Like I love sushi.
Yeah.
So I love just trying new places, and I love like also going to like new little businesses in Boston too.
Yeah.
And because someday I see myself, even now, like technically I'm a business owner, so I like to support people like that when I have the time.
I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good. The local is where the good food's at anyway,
absolutely.
so that's where the great stuff is.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So have you? This is random. We're off the lightning round now. But
okay.
have you seen the third John Wick movie?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have.
How epic was the scene with the dogs?
I know.
It's pretty badass.
They're staffies.
There's something. I don't know what they are. So his dog was a pit bull. It was a big pit bull, but they were like some kind of Belgian dog that was similar to the German Shepherd.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
If y'all haven't seen that movie, if you like dogs, you like action movies, it's badass. And the dogs don't die, which is also good. The first one, you're like, dude, kill them all, Keanu, kill them all. Yeah. They deserve it. But that scene was so well done. Holly Berry was she's 50 years old. She's badass. She #goals. Her and Keanu.
Goals. Yeah.
So it was pretty sick.
Yep.
But yeah, I have like definitely a man crush / potentially homosexual crush on Keanu Reeves. I'll be honest. He's man crush.
A lot of guys.
He's man crush Monday material. Man crush everyday material.
Yeah.
He's also just from what I've heard, he's a really awesome person. So, anyways, that was a nice little transition. Keanu, if you ever see this, let's hang out and have coffee. I'd love to talk to you about life. So, next thing we can do, what is your dad joke? What's your terrible dad joke?
Man, listen, I have a lot, but they're really bad. And so my old boss used to, man, I hope he doesn't see this, but I'll say it anyway.
I won't tag him, don't worry.
I said old boss. Well, I mean, so we used to do this on my team where we would like say a dad joke every Thursday. And some mornings I'm just like not in the mood for them.
Yeah.
But like I do like some fitness ones. So my dad joke today is, why was the farmer kicked out of the gym? And it's a little bit morbid.
Okay. I'm down. Let's hear it.
Okay, so because he was destroying his calves.
Yeah. Oh! Damn!
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still funny. Funny.
Terrible.
That's great. Terrible.
Yep.
Hey, the worse the better. Mine is going to be a weak-ass follow-up one, but I'll give you mine anyway. Why are dogs amazing animals?
So my first guess would be because they don't talk back.
That is one of them. Yeah, that is one of them.
I don't know.
They're very positive.
Oh yeah,
so,
they are.
Yeah. So that was it. That was a weak thought. We should have done them in reverse order because yours was definitely a better closer. You're like, ooh, you kind of twisted. Yeah, no, which is great.
No, dogs are the best.
They are.
I really want to get one at some point. Either I always wanted a French bulldog though.
Oh,
I know, kind of like I would like a designer dog like that.
Oh no, Frenchies are awesome. They're beautiful animals.
But I also like I like American bullies or something like that is a strong dog.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if they can't run with me. Everyone's like, Anna, you should get a dog that can run with me.
Yeah.
Like running for me is like my own time.
It's your thing. Yeah. And it's a lot of training and work to do it with a dog.
It is.
Because it's a lot with the leash and everything. No, I've always said that I want to, and this I won't do this until we move and we have a house and everything. But I've always said I want to rescue 10 pit bulls.
Wow.
And name them after the Avengers.
Okay.
And when it's time to feed them, I want to ring the bell and say Avengers Assemble.
You know, there's a guy that does that, right, with the dogs.
Oh, I believe.
You ever seen the video?
The Canine Dynasty guy, is it?
No, but he's from New Hampshire.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
No, it's guys. Another Instagram video, guys. It's some guy with a bunch of dogs, and he lines them up facing one way, and then he does the bell, and then they turn around and run
That's
to
amazing.
get the food.
I love that.
I'm like,
That's
wow.
awesome. It's super fun.
Good training. Yeah.
Hey, it's that Pavlov experiment. You know, it
Yeah.
obviously works. It works on
Yeah.
humans too. We're very easy to condition as well.
We are.
Hence Dwight with the mints,
Right.
the Tic
Yeah.
Tacs. Dun, dun. He reaches
Yeah.
his hand out. I love that scene.
We are easy.
Awesome. Well, Anna, this was an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
I had a really awesome time. And what I
you.
want to finish off with is where can people find you?
Oh yeah.
I know you're transitioning more so from fitness into the
I
insurance,
am.
but where can
Yeah.
people find you if they want to reach out to you for fitness,
Absolutely.
insurance,
Um,
and all the other stuff?
Probably, man, I have like every social media platform except TikTok, guys. I'm really lame.
You're not doing the TikTok dances?
No,
Come on,
I don't
come
do
on.
that.
I don't have
Just-
TikTok either.
TikTok
My mom's
is
on
like,
TikTok.
I'm like, what is this? I just don't
Yeah.
understand it. But probably the best place would be my Instagram, and yeah, I'm public, so you can follow me.
Excellent.
And it's just Anna, ANNA, Noble, NOBL _ So I chopped off the E.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, from more of a professional standpoint, you could definitely find me on LinkedIn and kind of see like what I do from a professional realm.
Yeah.
But Instagram is probably the best aggregator to find me on.
Exactly, yeah.
And then, yeah, just like shoot me a DM or something, and whatever your questions are, you know, I'm very open to answering.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I just post my life. Like, I post stuff with my insurance clients. I
Mhm.
post videos in the gym. I do, you know, different little businesses, things
Yeah.
like that. And I don't know. I like doing a lot of different things, like kind of just trying out different things I'm interested in. So
Love it. Yeah, and as a client, I'll tell you all that if
Yeah.
you have questions, you know,
Yeah.
she will answer them, and she's not gonna you know, try to push a sale.
no,
She's gonna help educate you, and hopefully, you know, if it ends up working out for both of you, then
Yep.
it can turn into a client relationship. But
yeah,
it's great resource. So, and it's always great when it's a friend of a friend, because that's
It is.
such a
Referrals.
nice referrals are the key.
Yeah, referrals are
awesome.
key. And if you're actually interested in fitness, still reach out to me. But I have, you know, including yourself, I mean, you, Laura, my good friend Jillian, a few other trainers in the area.
Not
that-
Jillian Michaels.
No.
Okay.
No, Jillian Barnes, shout out to you. You've done a great job with some of my clients, former clients. So I like to refer out to other trainers
Yeah.
that I trust and I think would be a good fit. And
Awesome.
the thing about like me knowing, you know, 4 or 5 really good professionals closely is that when I know I've worked with somebody, I can kind of figure out who would be the best fit for them
Exactly.
in terms of like moving on from me.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't always want to just throw people with, oh, you know, everyone go here, because if I have other options, I'm actually going to take you into consideration.
Oh, absolutely.
I know your personality. I don't know if you get along so well with,
Of course.
you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
whoever
And
it is.
at the end of
So
the day, it's all about serving
It
the
is.
client. So that's
I love
great.
to do that too. So yeah, if you're interested in training, I would still like to do some maybe pop-up classes this summer. You
Hell
know,
yeah.
with some of you guys locally. I think that would be awesome. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be fun.
But yeah, find me on Instagram.
Sounds good. Yeah. Hit her up on the gram.
Yep.
And the ultimate gram, wherever
Right.
we can find our amazing training videos.
Right. Yep.
So that is awesome. Well,
Yeah.
well, Anna, thank you so much
Thank
for being on the
you.
show. Had a
This was
blast
fun.
with you. I hope all of you learned. If you learned even half as much as I did from this interview, then you walked away. You're going to walk away with a ton of value, because I sure as hell did. And here at Deadlifts, Dogs, and Dad Jokes, we're here to help you become your strongest self and have fun along the way. So I feel like we definitely accomplished that within this hour. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, remember to train your body, feed your mind.